Bob, long time no see indeed. Good to see you again. Thanks for joining in, everybody. Good morning from Portland, Oregon. Nice and clear day today, surprisingly. Yeah, let me know where you're at. Storm, Dave, where are you at? California? East Coast? There's some crazy weather happening for sure around the world right now. Miss a Saturday dance. Heard they crowded the floor. Couldn't bear it without you. Don't get around much anymore. Don't get around much anymore. Don't get around much anymore. Do 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 do. Yeah, Keith, good to see you. Today we're going to go over this Duke Ellington classic. So let's get tuned up. Get your coffee. Don't look at. I always see the bottom of this mug here, and I realize it says a company logo. Until they start paying me, I'm not going to do any sponsorships. That's a pretty big company. Sunny in Atlanta. I like that. That's a good song title. Let's see. It might go something like this. Oh, I better not give too much of it away from it. It's not copywritten yet. Sunny in Atlanta. Kind of a poppy song, of course. Not jazz. Could be jazzy chords, though. Don't forget to do this, you guys, if you're enjoying these live streams. I appreciate it. Helps my channel to show that people are actually enjoying these video lessons. So are we ready to get started? I'm going to grab my iPad and I'll be right back. Grab your stuff and grab your coffees. Let's get started. Do some shop talk. All right, the sun's really coming out now. All right. Don't get around much anymore. Don't get around much anymore. So let's get started on this great Duke Ellington standard. Such a classic. Frank Sinatra, Harry Connick Jr. I think that's when I first really heard this song is from the movie When Harry Met Sally. Such a good soundtrack. This song was on there. The soundtrack was primarily done by Harry Connick Jr. Great soundtrack of standards. This one, what else is there? Anyways, lots of good songs. I Could Write a Book, Our Love Is Here to Stay. Those are all sweet jazz standards. So pull out the lead sheet here. We're going to get started on it. I'm loading it up myself. And again, if you haven't already joined Patreon, I do recommend that you join. There is a free tier level on Patreon, and I'm posting a lot of these live stream lead sheets just at the free tier for your educational purposes only. And here's what it's going to look like live stream, and you get that PDF. So let's go over this, do a little analysis, do some jamming on it. Just in Time, that's a good song too. Carl, good to see you. So today's song is Don't Get Around Much Anymore. And again, this is a jazz standard, great swing tune. I'm teaching it in the key of C with the knowledge that I share with you, the analysis and chord shapes and such. You hopefully could play it in any key. To me, that's when you really know a song really well, is that you can go beyond just one key because you've memorized the progression and you hear it and you know it, okay, intuitively. But let's talk key of C here, okay? Key of C, we got the one chord. And we're just gonna do the chord analysis first. We've got a little walk up to the 3. And the 3 is the E minor 7. You could do D minor 7, D sharp minor 7, E minor 7. So the hook is this. Mr. Saturday Dance. Some books might show a diminished chord passing between the 2 and the 3, and that's totally fine if you want to. Most guitar players just do minor 7, minor 7, minor 7. It's just easier. You can do it over here, this little walk up 1. So if you do it over here, you got C6, D minor 6, E flat dim, and then C/E. So again, you can kind of just modify it as necessary. Sometimes it depends on what string set I'm on that I'll choose those particular shapes instead of doing only what's written. So on my chart here, I wrote C major 7, D minor 7, E flat minor 7, and then E minor 7. Yeah, in these live streams, there's actually no such thing as tardy. So you can join in or leave whenever you want. That's the beauty of these. So yeah, welcome, Terry. Welcome to the club again. This is just a good hang. We just talk jazz standards or other songs. Sometimes not jazz. I'll do some Beatles songs and some other things coming up here too. Classic rock, Nirvana, just whatever's fun. And the hit there is 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, and. So it's 1 and 1. And I'm fancying it up. On the chart, it might just say dominant 7 for those walk down, but I like 13s. C13, B13, B flat 13, A13. That's called parallel. We're just moving it down chromatically in a parallel format. 1. If you notice, I put a little bit of a shuffle. 1. Feel that? That's a shuffle. I'm going pick chord, ba-boom, ba-boom, ba-boom. Kind of like we're doing this. Or this. Bear it without you. Don't get around much anymore. So when it's on the word out you, D dominant 9, not minor. Don't give away the minor yet. We want the 2 dominant without you, and then minor it 2-5 to C. Okay, remember we're in the key of C. So the secondary dominant here, the D9 is the 5 of the 5. So you know, A7 is the 5 of the 2. So there's a lot of secondary dominants here. But essentially it's kind of just a 1-6-2-5, right? So we've got C major 7. I'm just walking you through the chords with a little bit of analysis to the 3, which is just a prolongation of the 1. And then 1 down to the 6. 1. And then D9 or D7, your choice. D minor 7, G7. is the door. Couldn't bear it without you. Don't get around much anymore. And then the 2-5 to the B section. And here at this point is when I usually ask everybody, when the 1 chord turns to dominant, we're in the key of C, so that C major chord now turns to C7. I'm hoping somebody's going to type it in before I even say it. When the 1 chord turns to dominant, where is that going to pull you? You know the routine. Yeah, you just say 4. You just know it now, 4. Whenever Tracy says the 1 turns to dominant, that's 4. And if you've noticed, if you've been keeping up on my live stream lessons and all my lessons, I talk about this so much. It's such a common modulation scheme. The 1 turns to dominant, and the B section goes to the 4. How many songs do that? So many of these jazz standards, the 1 turns to the 4. But when you're playing jazz tunes, you often put the 2 chord in front of it to jazz it up a little bit more, to create more harmonic rhythm. Fancy? So you have the C major as your resolution. Now we put G minor 7, C9. And that pulls us to the 4, F major 7, or F6, or F major 7 up here, F6, F major 9, your choice. The melody is F6. The melody is on the 6th degree, so I would recommend F6 or something. Darling, I guess. Okay, but let's not hit the B section quite yet. Let's review the A section one more time. We've got those little hits, which are nice when you play the melody in. Of course, when you're playing rhythm behind the soloist, you don't need to do those hits anymore. You just do the chords. You can just stay on a C chord. You don't even have to go to the 3. And then the 6. This is how I would do it just for comping purposes. Don't get around much anymore. Maybe 3, 6, 2, 5, turn around. This is just for soloing purposes. You could do the walk down if you want. Okay. So, and then the 3, 6, 2, 5, 1, 6, 2, 5, any of your favorite turnaround. You could come up with your own cool turnarounds. But 3, 6, 2, 5. I said that, but I did chromatic tritone substitution, my favorite trick. Again, because you don't have to think about it, you just do this. Chromatic. Minor. 3, 6, 2, 5. Let's jam on that. D7, G7, and C. Keep jamming on the A section. Let's really master this. 3, 6, 2, 5, 1. You can do the walk up. B section. Washed her up memories, been invited on dates. Bum, 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 bum. I've got the what for. They'd had asked me about you. Don't get around much anymore. 3, baby. Don't get around much anymore. Take the A train ending. Blues liquor. So much fun, nice, easy swing tempo. This is what I often categorize on Patreon. If you like this feel and this, the shuffly, swingy jazz, bluesy feel, I label these as easy swing songs. Not because they're necessarily easy to play, but because of that tempo. It's just nice. Dun, dun, little shuffly swing feel. I love that tempo. It makes great for bluesy soloing, which is a lot of my strategies. Check out my lessons on soloing on the song too. We'll talk a little bit about that today. But let's talk a little bit more about the B section. Hopefully you got that A section down. I really recommend that you, before you even go on to the B section, that you learn and master those chords to the A section first. And now let's get back to the B. That one chords 2-5 to the 4. And here I'm doing F major 13. You can do F major 7, F6, F6, and the melody's on the 6. Darling. So we want F major. You have two options for the next chord. You could go to minor if you kind of want it a little bit sad or bittersweet. I like F sharp dim. Bluesier to go to the sharp 4 dim. So I would go, darling, I guess. And then to the 1, C. So either way, if you want to go C major, F major, 4, minor 4 to the 1, totally fine. Some books might even show that. If you want to go 4, sharp 4 dim, I like that more. And then the 1. And then we want the 2-5 back to the 4, G minor, C, 7, C 13. But nevertheless, and then here we want 2-5 going to the 3. So a lot of secondary dominance. What is the 5 of the 3? This is what I want to ask you. The 3 is E minor. What's the 5 of the 3? This is where it's important to know all those little secondary dominants that I always show in my classes and routine. The 5 of E minor is B7. Thanks, Bob. So in front of that, you put the 2, F sharp half dim, B7, E minor, A7, D minor 7, G7. You could think of it as a chain if you want. Some of you do. 2, 5, 2, 5, 2, 5, right? So you could do nice. You can do your beboppy licks if you want to there to kind of highlight that chain of 2 5s, or you could just say bluesy. So again, here's the B section. I'm going to do it with the complete now with that chain of 2 5s to get us back to C. So if you want to back cycle, we want to arrive back to C. In front of that, you put a 2-5, D minor, G7. In front of that, you put E minor 7, A7. But in front of that, you put F sharp half dim, B7. And I'm playing B7 sharp 5. Darling, I guess my mind's more at ease. But nevertheless, right here, see? That there. Why stir up memories and invited on dates? Back to the A. Might have gone, but what for me? Walk the bass if you want to. Get around much anymore. 1, 6, 2. Don't get around much anymore. Don't get around much anymore. This is our vamp, our outro. Don't get around much anymore. And some sort of classic ending that was a bassy ending there. So you can do the bassy ending, then take the A train ending. Learn all these classic ending licks, or of course the Django ending, right? Minor swing 1, or blues lick. So endings are great to have down. Key of C, make sure you get that. I do have a swing endings worksheet. Maybe some of you, I know many of you are on Patreon. You might not have seen my 20 ending licks. Check that out. I'll have to repost that. 20 different ending licks, swing ending licks. All of those that I just demonstrated are included on there. I even have a special Sweet Georgia Brown 20 endings just on Sweet Georgia Brown that this walk down. I won't get sidetracked, but many of you have already seen that. Sweet Georgia Brown is one of the songs I have the most materials for on Patreon. One of my most popular songs. So let's play it again. This is pretty fun. I love this song. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. I'll show you the melody in a second. But let's just play chords. Without you, I'll use my thumb. Don't get around much anymore. 1, 6, 2. Don't get around much anymore. Ready? 2, 5 to the 4. Darling, I guess my mind's more at ease. 2, 5 to the 4, but never the less. 2, 5, 2, 5. See all those 2 5s? To the 3. A little bluesy ending. Again, sometimes when I'm playing, I don't know what ending I'm going to use. I just kind of have a big pile of licks and ideas for endings. And if it's bluesy, I'll throw in a blues lick, right? And maybe end on a 9 chord. So, and there I said to the 3. My band, when I'm playing with them, I don't need to say that. They probably just know by intuitively what I'm going to do after playing with me for so many years. And that's what's nice to have a regular trio that you often play with, or a group of guys. You don't even have to talk. You can just communicate via music, and they know, for the music. Sometimes I just loop the 1, 6, 2, 5, instead of going to the 3, but they can kind of tell by the energy and the body language, if I'm going to do the 3. But there are things that you can do to help the band, like the shoulder here. If you do this, then, they kind of know you're going to go to the 3. Versus just resolving 1, 6, then I don't do any shoulder. So definitely the body language is important. I'm not joking. They can tell the shoulder is. See. Whole tone. Fun scale. A little Thelonious Monk tribute there. Django loved the whole tone scale too. Who doesn't love that whole tone flavor for an ending lick? So let's talk the melody here. The melody is really sweet. By the way, if you're just tuning in, definitely grab the tabs because you're going to want to see how I notate the melody here. I actually like to play it in octaves, even though I just wrote it out as single notes. So let's take a look at the tune. Hopefully you got those chords down. At this point, if I was working with you one-on-one, which right now it's a group lesson on YouTube, or if you're watching this on a replay on Patreon, usually I would say, let's play it in a different key. That's where I would kind of challenge you and myself to play it in the key of F. You got to go 1. I'm just going to demonstrate. If you grab your guitar, make sure you do this with me. 1, walk it up to the 3, back to the 1 to the 6 as dominants. 2 dominant. We're in the key of F now. 2, 5, 1, back to F. That's how easy the A section. I don't know about the hook. And then ready. Turn that to dominant. 4. Sharp 4 dim. 1. Dominant. Now here's that chain. 2 5s. Six, 2 dominant, 5, 3, 6, 2, 5, ending A train, key of F. That was pretty easy. So hopefully you guys can see by learning the numbers, translating these songs into numbers, the progression, you could do it in any key. And you're going to, playing songs in different key can be really a great experience. It could be a really bad experience too, but no, seriously, it could be a great experience because especially guitar players. Bob, you and I had a great lesson yesterday. By the way, I do have some diamond tier available. This is my diamond tier plug on Patreon. I do have 4 more slots, I think, available on Patreon if you want a private lesson with me once a month. We can talk about whatever you want. And playing songs in different key can be very, very exciting because we can choose songs that use open strings and things that you might not expect. It's really fun to explore. So let's go ahead and learn the melody, that being said, now in the key of C. And I'm just going to look at my lead sheet. Hey, thanks for the plug, Bob. It's worth it. Good. Yeah, it's always a pleasure to work with you. So check that out. Okay, I'm going to show it to you like this. Ba 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 bum. I actually love that phrase a lot. I use that quite a bit. We're on the C chord. It's kind of pentatonic-y. Without the 6th degree, that should be there. And you have the sus. I find myself doing this lick a lot. Like a little sus4. And I like to treat it with octaves, maybe a little homage to Wes. So I do this. And I refinger it when I do it that way. So and this is on my chord melody arrangement if you guys want to grab that on Patreon. So get used to doing that phrase. And if you're new to octaves, one quick little tip that I just posted a video recently on Wes Montgomery style octaves on Patreon, a bonus video. And I talk about how it's good to visualize using only one finger. So if you're new to octaves, you don't want to use all your fingers. You just want to use one finger, either your first finger or your pinky or your ring finger. But I would just do this for practice. Only my pinky in this case. I want to do that normally, but to demonstrate and to know that I'm going to use octaves a la Wes, then I have it mapped out. And then I can add on this finger to get the octave below it. Okay. And then crossover. And I have it all mapped out by doing this. I usually recommend starting with a pentatonic scale, but this is kind of pentatonic. Okay. And now it's easy because you got the octaves mapped out. 3 frets here on the top 3 strings. And it's nice to slide into it. Okay, that's getting into articulations, how you play something, going from the piece of paper and making it sound musical and swinging too. Miss I had heard they, what's the word? Miss a Saturday dance, heard they crowd the floor, and then here we go. Couldn't bear it without you. So I wrote that here, all in the 5th fret position. I'm just again looking at my own tabs here if you want to grab it. The link is in the description if you're just tuning in. Couldn't bear it without you. You can put chords to it. Again, check out my chord melody if you want to see how I put chords to each that, octaves. But again, the melody simply is, this is the hook. Don't, you want to do this. Don't get around much. So it's 3 to the 5, chromatic, very bluesy. And then a flat 3, any more, resolve it to the root. That's a really nice hook. Do it everywhere. You know, really learn that hook so that you can play it anywhere. It's a good one. 1, 6, 2. 1, 6, 2. Practice that. I got to show you that ending there, that classic take the A train ending. Root, third, chromatic to the 5th. And then once you arrive to the 5th, you go up this major scale. So it's 1, 1. And then you do your ending chord. Now, you kind of want to save that for the ending, but so let's not quite end the song yet. That's your A section melody. Okay. One, 6, 2. Ready? So let's do the B section melody here. I'm going to take a look to see where I notated that. Darling, I guess I put it here. Then my mind's more at ease. So I'm just thinking all in this 8th fret position. Remember, it starts on the 6th degree, F6. I like the dim. So you can do chord melody again by knowing the melody note and how it relates to the chord. You have this. Down here if you want to. But again, check out my chord melody arrangement separately. Here's a melody. That's just a triad on the C chord. So simple. But nevertheless, okay. So we have, but nevertheless, 2, 3, 4. Why stir up memories? Super easy B section. Super fun. Super swinging. Super duper. 1, 2, 3. Got it? Let's talk a minute about some soloing ideas. I think that's really fun. I often like to talk about chord exploring and all that stuff, but some things that I really, I have PDF for what I'm going to kind of talk about. One thing that I think is important, well, besides just running blues licks and such too, is to be able to arpeggiate the changes. Now, in this case, because there's a little hook, rhythmic hook, and chordal movement, this is where I usually tell students, just simplify. Just think C major. So C6, C major 7, that's all great. Don't worry about following the hook because it happens so fast. So just think C major stuff, or C major 7, C major 6. Then A7, D7, D minor, back, C major, C major, A, D7, maybe bluesic, F major, F sharp down, C major, C7, F, 2 5, 2 5, 2 5, maybe blues licks. Blues. Take a motif. I like the bluesy side of this song. 2 5, 2, some diminished, C major, back to the melody. Let's take it out. Nice and quiet. Out you don't get around much anymore. No shoulder. That means 1-6-2-5. Don't get around much anymore. Don't get around much anymore. Last time. A train. C9 sharp 11. Whole tone lick. Fun. Hey guys, thanks for joining in today on Don't Get Around Much Anymore. Check out all of my materials on this song on Patreon. I know many of you are on Patreon already. I appreciate you being in my community. You can join Patreon. There's a free tier level. Join the community. That's where we learn, practice together, and we have a lot of fun. Thanks, everybody. Have a great day. We'll see you next time. Cheers.